I'm Dr. Bob Grakowski. Welcome back to the Better Brain Academy. So there's been several questions this week about food labels and how it can be rather confusing, thinking that you're getting something healthy, but maybe it's not. We've already addressed on genetically modified organisms or foods, so the GM products. So a lot of those can sneak in with some of the labels. So we're going to talk through this and also give you a pretty comprehensive attachment so you can read through all the different things and really see which of those you want for the most for your foods and nutrients. So if you look at the labeling, if it says USDA organic or 100% organic, that means it is 100% organically grown. That means the produce has to have been at least 3 years between any type of synthetic products that are put into the soil or things as far as herbicides. It doesn't mean that they're not herbicide free, but it does mean that they're not using genetically modified synthetic fertilizers or different types of pesticides or herbicides. So if it says 100% USDA or USDA organic, then you're pretty safe that that's going to be your best product. Now you can also see one that says USDA certified can be up to 95%. And that's also very good. So you want to see the USDA. The other one that you want to look at is the one that says non-GMO. So if it says non-GMO, then the chances of that being non-genetically modified that is third-party rated is very high. So those are the three best: USDA 100% organic, or USDA certified, or non-GMO. Now there's a lot of things when you look at this. The problem is when you start to look at different types of foods, for instance eggs or chickens or pork or beef, then it can get a little bit confusing. So I'm going to address that as far as what grass-fed and grass-finished mean. So if we look at, say, different produce, you want to make sure that it is non-sprayed, that it doesn't have herbicides, that it is 100% organic, and hopefully locally grown if you live in an area where you can get that. Several different things you can put on the foods that are shipped from other countries to keep them preserved until they get here can create a whole host of other problems because of the chemical factors. It affects our digestive tract. So like we talked about before, if you have genetically modified foods, or they have the glyphosate, the Roundup that is either put into the cell or sprayed on, then that has a disruption of our own gut biome. We've been talking how it's so important to make sure that our gut health is important, to make sure that our neurotransmitters are made properly. And if we put this into our diet, it's really important that we're looking at non-GMO foods because it will disrupt the gut biome. We've already talked about how that affects serotonin, how it can affect the dopamine levels, how it can affect so many different factors as far as our brain transmission, the ability to get nutrients into the cells. So you want to really look at your labels. With the attachment, it also has some things about what's the difference between grass-fed or grass-finished. A lot of times, say cows can be grass-fed, they can be out in a pasture, but the challenge is sometimes they're not grass-finished, meaning that they, right before they go to market, they feed them with a lot of corn and soy products. The challenge with that is corn and soy products are genetically modified. Over 90% of them are GMO foods, so you get this product that's put into the cow that actually causes a challenge with the that's stored in the fat cells. So you get a cow that actually has some challenges. Grass-fed is better because you're actually getting some of the omega-3 nutrients through the grass into the cow, so you get a better quality fatty acids as opposed to the corn and the soy-fed. Now, some of these steaks may taste better, but they have a lot more residual problems as far as your overall health in the long run. The other thing that's important to look at is free range or pasture raised. So free range, sometimes they can have literally a chicken has to have only 2 square feet of space that it can get out of a cage. So free range means that they have just 2 square feet. Now pasture raised means that they could actually have up to 108 square feet. Now that's a big difference, because if this chicken is caged and then it's put into just a small little area, they can call it free range, but pasture raised is actually going to be much better for the natural processes of chickens. The other thing too is looking at making sure that the poultry that you're eating is not fed a lot of corn and soy products. So you want to make sure that it's looking at the 100% GMO, non-GMO, or organic. Pasture raised would be your better. Same thing with eggs. You can look at so many different things. It'll be, if it says natural, natural has nothing of good quality as far as GMO foods. The challenge with a lot of the meat products are they like to fatten up the pigs and the cows. So you want to make sure if it is 100% organic, then they aren't fed hormones or antibiotics. Antibiotics can go into the cow and it creates a whole disruption of their own immune system. We ingest it, those hormones can actually fatten us up as a population, and the antibiotics can create disruption in our gut biome. So you want to make sure that you're looking at the labels and really make sure that it is no hormones, no antibiotics, 100% non-GMO, 100% USDA organic, or at least USDA certified. There are so many different confusing labels. They deal with the humane of the animals. They deal with other different things you can see on a food product, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's that healthier for you. A lot of them, these are special interest groups that might put a label on there that sounds like it's very healthy for you. So that's why I've added this attachment so that you can sort through and really go to the store with much more knowledge and making sure that you're continuing to eat healthier in the products that you're buying, and also start to eliminate some of the foods that could be creating problems in that gut biome and your overall brain health in the long run. So I appreciate your focus and your questions on asking. If there's any other questions, make sure you go to the Better Brain Academy Facebook page, and I'll make sure that we get all those answered. Look forward to talking soon. Have a great rest of your week.